are live! Quarter Life Critics. Today is July 9th, 2025. And it is episode 43 of Quarter Life Critics. And I'm sitting here today with my best friends, Grant.
What up?
And Patrick.
Hello.
And today we are reviewing the movie Catch Me If You Can. A classic, I think chosen by none other than Mr. Farmer himself. And so I'm going to just give it to him, and I'm going to let him explain a little bit about this film and maybe why you chose this film.
Sure. Well, we're jumping right into it. I wanted to just throw in a little tidbit today because right next to me is Basil, our
Basil?
dog.
What is a Basil?
Our dog. She's sleeping, but I think she's in a food coma because it was her birthday today.
Oh,
it's her
happy
birthday.
Basil.
So we made her a burger patty for her dinner, and then Katie made her muffins with yogurt instead of frosting on it, and she chowed down. So now she's in a coma, a birthday coma.
How quickly was the burger gone?
A burger is gone. We made the mistake of saving the dessert for last, but like burger in her head is much better than dessert. So we should have done the dessert and then the burger as the treat. But we sang to her and everything. Burger was devoured, and then she finished the muffin and went back to her bowl where the burger was because she wanted more burger.
Just a regular burger or is it a special dog burger?
Cheeseburger?
Regular. We have like these frozen smashed patty, like they're raw. They're just like really flat patty. So I grilled one up.
Nice.
It's gotta be a dog patty. What are you doing?
Just all Angus beef, baby.
Human grade.
Happy birthday, Basil. Another
HBD.
year. Turning what, 5?
4
Okay.
4 years old. The puppy. She's passed out. Well, anyways, moving on to what we're talking about this week. So, Catch Me If You Can, a 2002 film. I don't know why I picked it, but let me do the synopsis first.
Stuart recommended it to you, right? When he said?
We were talking about it. I think that's where it came up, and it was definitely in like the zeitgeist.
You were feeling deceptive. You were were you trying to solve a mystery? Trying to get away from life and its problems?
I don't know about that, but it's a film that I think is pretty famous and one of Leo's first films, and I had never seen it. And if you don't know what it's about, the film is about Frag Abagnale Jr. Frank. Sorry.
We're a little rusty.
I am rusty. He worked as a doctor, a lawyer, and as a co-pilot for a major airline, all before his 18th birthday. A master of deception, he was also a brilliant forger whose skill gave him his first real claim to fame. At the age of 17, Frank became the most successful bank robber in the history of the U.S. FBI agent Carl, how do you say his last name? Hanratty makes it his prime mission to capture Frank and bring him to justice, but Frank is always one step ahead of him. So essentially the film is about Tom Hanks, who is chasing down Leo, who is just kind of a hooligan guy running away. He's smart. He's a very good forger, and he knows how to get away in the nick of time. And I think he's troubled. I think that was like a very kind of underlying theme where he's kind of running away, but he wants to stop running, and he's just a kid and he can't. And there's with Tom Hanks, I think there's a lot of empathy and understanding there that he's just a kid.
My frontal lobe picked up more on some of the more underlying motifs and themes of family going on versus I've seen the film before, and I mean, I just remember, oh, con artist, sweet, like more of like an action film. Like, damn, how is he gonna get away this time? But I think there's a lot more than that, or other things.
Yeah, you get to see. I think, and maybe that's just getting older. You kind of can psychoanalyze a little bit and see the deeper thing that's pushing this guy to be a con man. It was directed by Steven Spielberg, which I did not know, I think, until we watched this.
So the credits for we're on.
Christopher Walken was also in it. It was nominated for 2 Oscars, Best Supporting Actor and Best Original Score. It has an IMDb of 8.1 out of 10 with 1.2 million reviews, which is pretty high. Budget was 52 million, and the box office 300 million more than that, so 352 million. So made a pretty penny on this one. I think it's kind of, I don't want to call it culty, but I think it's one of those films that's definitely survived the test of time in some ways, where I think people still go back and watch it. It's not.
Yeah, I think
it hasn't disappeared into
sort of a household name.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the synopsis, Grant. As you know, our new tradition, ritual, if you will, on Quarter Life Critics is we watch these movies in person. I think, well, so far, we've only had a couple. It's been a very busy year for the 3 of us. We've only gotten around to a few movies, but I will say I think it's one of the highlights so far is watching in person and being able to experience that together. Even just one other person. I think there's a difference versus just you're alone in your bed with a laptop or something. That is, I think, a distinctly different experience than 2 people, two or 3 dudes on a couch watching a larger TV. Now, what do you guys think?
Gotta be on the couch. That was what jumped out to me. That's. I feel like I can't remember which movie, but there's something about the music in Grant. I don't know. It's just laptop speakers probably would not have done it justice.
Mm-mm.
Nope. Or the TV speakers.
Yeah. Which is funny.
I will. One question, Pat, is yours. We hung out previously at your house, and your soundbar was broken. It was just blinking. Is it still blinking?
Broken. I don't know. I'm not sure what the status is. I may have adjusted it, but I don't know.
Don't notice.
We don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll come over and I'll fix it next time. Don't you worry. I'll have a little more time.
For sure.
Well, during our in-person viewings, we also have something we've dubbed the QLC Halftime Show, where we answer some written questions by the 3 of us. Some of them are shared questions, and some of them are unique to that individual. So let's share some of our responses that we've gotten.
Well, really quick. Some people might be asking, the halftime show. We just started the podcast. Why is it called the halftime show? What are we doing?
It's called the halftime show because we sort of cheat and we look up the runtime of the show, of the movie, and then we set an alarm for exactly halfway through. I don't care if it's in the middle of a scene, or actually I was told from my colleagues that it doesn't matter if it's in the middle of a scene. We're stopping and we're recording what we feel about the movie. So that is where the halftime comes up from. And I have a little first quiz to the 2 of you. This is, I think, our 3rd time doing this, or second or third? Second time. How many questions did we have to answer?
This time?
This time. Grant says 3. Patrick says...
I think it was 3.
Okay. Well...
Because there's 2 from the pot and then 1 shared.
It was actually 4 questions total. 2 were shared.
Oh, because it was kind of a 2-parter.
Not really. But it's funny because I think Grant and I have 4 responses to these questions. Pat, you only have 3 in yours. But
at least I'm consistent. Grant's Grant's on my
You
side.
thought there was three?
You're
and
right,
you
Grant.
answered three.
I was like, if Pat thinks there's 4 and Grant thinks there's 3, this is incredible. But if you think the question that you may have missed is how does the movie play out? I think.
Oh, okay.
So let's just get into some of our questions, and I've selected an order that I think keeps it interesting. So let's pull this up. I got videos on deck. Let's start with my first question. What's up, guys? I got some questions here for you. My first question is, which role would you have the easiest time pulling off? And I think realistically, I don't think I could be Frank. Frank is juggling too much deception, too many things in the pot, too many oh, hey Basil, how you doing? Speak of the devil.
Oh.
He's got too much going on, and I think that's the weak link in a lot of these setups. Is you are too greedy and you have too much going on, and you get too paranoid. I would get too paranoid about all these lies and trying to keep them together. So I'm gonna have to go with Carl, the guy who's a corporate cog who's down on his desk Christmas Eve, always trying to catch Frank. So I think if the question is easiest time, I think it would have to be Carl. Frank has a little bit of an expert skill set that I'm not ready for yet.
Quinn
Well-
picking the narc.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa. That's funny, Grant. Let's see what Grant might have to say about this.
Let's
All
see.
right. Catch me if you
On
can.
his first question.
Halftime show. We got the mic'd up right here. First question. We're going. Are you FBI or con? Definitely con. Not going to be a narc. Done.
Damn, dude.
Wow, that's
Really?
funny. Yeah.
So we had sort of had different responses there.
Those were both my questions, and it's funny you guys answered it the same way because I intended more for the first one to be like pilot, doctor, like
Oh.
I
because
see.
like going into the movie, that's like it's
Mhm.
like
You were
he's a
thinking
lawyer, he's a
synopsis.
pilot, he's a.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I thought it was,
Oh, okay.
but as we're watching it, it's not like that. So you're like thinking like all these people, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like he was. Well, actually, that's a good question. I don't know if you have a
I think
response to that.
you
Glenn.
lose at the doctor. I mean, definitely not the doctor. He couldn't even do the doctor. I mean, he
Yeah.
just left, and that was a mess.
The pilot also seems like
The pilot is not easy either.
I wouldn't want to do that.
No, I mean, there's just so many times. There's so many little things. What? I think the check frauding is probably the most realistic if you had some knowledge and like some resources. I mean, I feel like I could take my time and really get the
Yeah,
best.
right.
You mean
it looks so
that's-
easy.
at the end, like when he was
Just
working.
his whole life, I think he was
Yeah,
committing check fraud. I guess that's
but
not
that's
a
not really
profession.
a role. I think like what about lawyer? I think that's the other big one.
Yeah, lawyers don't know shit as long as no one was checking your credentials.
I
in the
I think
briefcase.
lawyer would be the best or the easiest because I think he still passed the bar,
Mhm.
so he did study enough and passed.
Pass the bar.
Well, we'll talk about that in a later segment.
Quinn is always stealing stuff.
But he studied and took a test, at least in the film, and it showed that he passed. So I think
I just think to bullshit someone, you could be
You
arm
could
check
learn a little
lawyer.
bit more on the
Yeah.
job.
It's a lot of
co-pilot though. Co-pilot seems like
He was the
Might be
actual
able to-
pilot too. So
I don't know if he was. Was he?
I think it was implied that he did fly sometimes.
Maybe it's some, I don't. I think whatever the deadheading.
I guess I don't really know what that is. So maybe it's
Completing a trip without paying passengers or freight. Well, that's not what happened in the film.
No, yeah, he was like the deadhead because they were taking him on their flight for free.
But I think it may or may not imply that there were no passengers on there.
No, it's
Oh.
just getting a pilot to a paid trip where you're not actively piloting the airplane.
Okay, a normal passenger. Yeah. I see what you mean.
So maybe that'd be pretty easy. But also like the one scenario, like the risk is just a lot higher than
But what are you doing? Like, why are you? It's
Because
I
you're
don't want to
going
be on a
from hub to
plane.
hub.
I know, but I don't want to be on a plane if I don't have to.
Yeah, you're expected to fly like DC
Get off
to
and then-
Dallas. You're expected to pilot a flight from Dallas to somewhere else.
Then you just leave and you say,
Headache.
headache.
Yeah, that sounds a little weird. Sounds like people just continue to look at you like,
All right. Well, those are good questions. Let's get one in from Mr. Patrick.
Hey everyone, answering some questions here. 2 secret and then 1 shared. For
That's
Catch Me If
3.
You Can. So first question, name one thing that you noticed that dated this film. Catch Me If You Can was made in 2002. And we're about halfway through, and the thing that's very obvious to me was when he was going to school, high school in New York. He attempted to be a substitute teacher, and you just kind of look at everyone's clothes, and it's very clear that they're older. I think it is set in 1969. We don't know these questions, but the clothing is pretty obvious. Like, these are not contemporaries of myself or younger people in today.
All right. Now, I'm assuming that was your question, Grant?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you were looking for? Were you looking for movie dating or just time in 60s dating? Like dated film techniques or dated
Period.
whatever,
I think more
period,
period. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was more period is what I had in mind.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I had one in mind, but it's been so long that I forget. I just remember being like, "Oh, that's a good answer to my question," and then it's gone.
It's gone. It's a fleeting thought. It's okay. Some ghost stole it and is eating it for nutrition. It's like
empty
or I just-
calories.
or you just forgot it. All right, let's keep it rolling here with my second question. My second question is describe Tom Hanks in 2 words. And I would have to say Chet's dad. Chet Hanks, everyone. The generational icon who created White Boy Summer in addition to many other things. So maybe I could pull up some funny Chet Hanks clips. I think he's got a great Jamaican accent and is generally a great juxtaposition with his father. You guys know anything about Chet Hanks?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Well, I might know too much about Chet Hanks, where he's the son of Tom Hanks and is
I
kind of the
inferred that, yes.
the stereotypical son of just a mega famous dad that you'll never be greater or more famous than. So he has some wild stories of, I think he got sent to one of those wilderness rehabs for the children of famous people, where they just kind of like take you during the night and you give up all of your rights because you're a minor. It's like some sort of ultimate rehabilitation. I think they're like banning them. I think there's some documentaries out there. I think actually on the one that he was sent to, but it's like boot camp to the extreme, a lot of loss of self dignity, and they really just say, you know what, your parents sent you here and you're ours now, and they just do whatever the hell they want to.
I remember some shows about things like that back in the day. Like some.
Yeah, it maybe not as prevalent now, but now that he's kind of told his story. But let's see. I think the first time I did hear about him was through that maybe Jamaican accent. I think he got famous during the Golden Globes, where he gave a short, not an interview, but a viral clip. Let's see him at the Golden Globes. This
I
might have
think
been
I've seen this.
2020 or 2021.
Yeah, it's not that old, right?
Yeah, it's within the last 5 years, definitely.
Big up the whole island, massive. It's your boy Chatana, coming straight from the Golden Globes, you want saying? Me father Tom Hanks presenting in a what soon forward come. Big up, tune in.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good Jamaican accent. He has I think there's a larger interview with Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan, but here's a short clip of him explaining the origins of his Jamaican accent and how that came to be.
I was hooking up with this chick. One day she was on the phone with her family in Jamaica, and she was really in the middle of a heated conversation. Tell that pussy clot girl me know what. I really had no idea what the fuck she was saying. And her friend said, "Feel me picking in the car with me so me can't chat." I'm like, wow. So wait, break that down. So then she started breaking down a lot of shit. I'm like, how do you say this? John no star. How do you say that? Oh, like 7. Oh. She was just telling me how to say different shit. So for a week, I was really on a Jamaican tip. And that just happened to be the week of the Golden Globes.
Me father Tom Hanks presenting in a what soon forward come. Big up, tune in.
I had Jamaicans blowing up my Instagram. Respect, General. Come to the island. You know what I mean? The Jamaican people showed me the most love, hands down. But then you got all these social justice warriors in America saying that I'm a fucking villain.
How do you feel about the idea of cultural appropriation overall?
So that was taken from Channel 5.
Was like pretty recent, right? Because I think I saw that.
Which one?
Interview.
The Golden Globes.
The Channel 5.
The Channel 5 is probably more recent. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Golden Globes, yeah, probably. Actually, Chet Hanks 3 years ago. Channel News. So maybe within a couple of years of each other. All right, moving along here. Let's get into Pat's second clip here.
Second question: when was the last time you used a check? I mean, that could also date the movie itself. It's like check fraud. I think a youngish person like continuously writing checks, that kind of dates the movie itself too. How did that experience go? Will checks ever go away? The last time I used a check, I think when you get married, everyone writes you a check. I got married September 2023. So that I just cashed a bunch of them. It's pretty annoying, honestly. You have to monitor them and make sure that they all went through. And sometimes they don't go through because people do like fun things. They write to the groom and bride of XYZ, Emily and Patrick Manning. My wife's last name was Silverman beforehand. And the banks were like, no, that's that person's not on your bank account. Emily Manning actually doesn't exist yet. She hadn't changed her name. So it was kind of annoying, actually. And then second part of that question, will checks ever go away? Probably. I mean, everything is so instant. Paper just kind of goes away in general. Why would you want to use a check when you could just Zelle or do some sort of transfer? So yeah, I think they will go away. And my experience was it was annoying to use them, but people are generous. It's fun to get a written thing from anyone, so a card, a check, fun little memo, fun description. It's kind of nice. It's cute, but in the end, it is annoying.
Nice. Pat, I did want to ask one question about your check experience, because I've actually never had any checks fail or not, or like require follow up. It's been pretty smooth. Were you in that scenario that you described? Were you trying to deposit them in a joint account and they didn't like that
No, it
the
was
names
my
didn't match?
account.
Okay.
And it was like because Emily's not listed as an owner. It was pretty weird.
Interesting.
But it had your name on the check.
Yeah, but it had two people's names, so it's just like
Yeah.
I don't know, raise some flag.
Interesting. I didn't have any issues with that for our wedding. Have you ever heard a check fail, Grant?
Not like
Check
that. no.
bounced. You're going to jail.
Yeah, I was like, dude.
So what do you have to do? Did you have to like reach out to the guests and
what
be
do you-
like, hey?
Rewrite your check.
I think I just so it was all through like PNC, so I just used Ally, and Ally was just super easy. So I just switched
Different-
bank. Yeah,
Different bank. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. PNC, and it was like half of them got denied. It was because everyone, writes like a fun thing. They're like
Yeah, I know.
newlyweds to whatever. And they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
no, I
this
know what you
isn't
mean.
Patrick
That's just-
Manning, so we can't cash it.
I thought it might have been a joint account thing where her name didn't match that, but if it was just yours and it said Patrick Manning,
Yeah, it's weird.
It was really weird.
happened to you, Grant, at all?
No.
Nope.
Would you guys agree it's like kind of annoying though?
Yeah,
what would you
right.
say?
I got really good at it during wedding season, like writing checks and dealing with them and mailing them. But I don't know. I think that there has to be something that replaces. You still need a way to like physically give someone a lot of money without having a lot of money. I wonder if there's like could put a QR code in the letter, and then that lets you get money from somewhere.
That's so insecure.
Yeah, I don't know what. Well, the checks could be insecure too.
Apparently not to PNC though. This shit's locked out.
Maybe we just all need cashier's checks. I don't know. That's another hassle.
I don't know if they'll go away though. It's like writing your own money. I don't know.
It's
There's
true.
something
I
about
would have to look at like other countries. Like, do other countries use checks? We all use physical money in some way, shape, or form. But what is the check history in other countries? Some of these countries, it'd be like, it's like I need 10 million
Zimbabwean dollars.
ribbles. Yeah, like all my ribbles are everywhere. Sweet. All right, we're going into Grant's second question, which might be my favorite answer to a question this time, because I'll give you a little. He struggles in it a little bit, and I know exactly what he's trying to say, but it's not working. So let's pull up Grant.
Let's hear it.
How old is Leonardo DiCaprio's footnote 50 girlfriend? Bonus points for nationality and occupation. So Leo, who is 50 years old, who is he dating? I know he likes them young. He likes them ripe. I think he's kind of. I'm trying to think. 23, I think, is his magic number. Where they. What's the line from? Damn, I'm blanking with
Dazed and
Matthew
Confused.
McConaughey. Jeez, it's kind of coming to me, but the line is that high school girls usually you get older and they stay the same age. So I think Leo is known for continuing to date a 23-year-old. Bonus points for nationality and occupation. I'm gonna go with Serbian. Don't know why that popped in my head. And flight attendant in theme of the movie, which I do not think that she's actually a flight attendant. She's probably like a model. But I'll go with flight attendant for the sake of this.
Nice.
Nice.
It's such
You
a
have the
great.
facts?
I do have the facts, but it's such a great quote to to fail to remember because it just comes out like real like bad. You're like the high school girls. They look really.
I couldn't even
young.
remember the movie too. Like it popped. I'm like Dazed and Confused, of course.
Of course, it's all right. We were on this. Get on the spot.
Do you have the quote up then?
I do.
The real
That's
quote?
he says that's what I love about these high school girls, man. I get older, they stay the same age.
That's Leo in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I think they like when they hit like 25 and
It is
he,
25. Yeah, that's known as the look. You got all the answers now.
Yeah.
And I think he did actually break his streak. I think he's still dating the same woman who's 26 now.
No way.
Mm-hmm. And her
Wow.
name is Vittoria Soretti. And she's Italian
I'm telling you.
and also a model, like you said.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Whose question was that?
Oh, that was mine. You like
Some
them?
yeah, some Leo lore.
Yeah, just kind of, why not try and stump
Did you know that before you answered, like before you wrote it?
I knew I just assumed it was some young girl. And so I don't think I knew those answers. I didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been the same. I might have said model. And
Italian is good.
yeah, I was like, maybe Grant will say Italian because he's Italian. It's okay. All right, we're getting on to the third question for myself. My third question, which is a shared question, it's going to be: describe a time in your life when you attempted to deceive someone or were deceived. Was the deception successful? And I actually have both sides of that. One, when I was deceived, it must have been many, many moons ago in middle school, perhaps elementary school. I think elementary school when I played the popular, massively multiplayer online role-playing game, RuneScape, when I fell for the classic trust trading game, which you have to be a child to fall for this trick because once you start explaining it out loud, no one really would ever think, how could you fall for that? So basically a person shows their worthiness by displaying a very rare or expensive item in their trade chat. And I think I did see someone with a party hat or a Santa hat in their trade, and they said, you know what? Highest bidder wins. Whoever is willing to trust trade me the highest value of money or gold will be the winner. And I duked it out with a couple people, trust trading, and I think I was going to be the winner, and I was going to be gifted the party hat. And then I clicked that last trade button, and poof, all of my stuff disappeared. The guy logged out immediately. I was a young child, crying, sad, logging out, and that was generally a bad day. But once you say it out loud, it's really messed up because only a child would fall for that, and only it does take some eliteness, some wealthiness to obtain those items. So it's really, the rich just stepping on the poor kids and scamming them. So it was pretty shitty. On the other hand, I think when I deceived people, a situation sort of similar to the movie was in school. Big shout out to my friend Spencer. We used to sneak or just walk into these faculty lunches. They had very nice prepared lunches, and different faculty members would give talks, kind of like mini TED Talks during lunch. And no one ever said anything. We were the only two students in there. We walked in, we grabbed our delicious prepared takeout lunch from a local restaurant, and we sat and we listened to these talks, which were very interesting, very casual, but also intellectual, just like a TED Talk. And we did that many, many, many times and never had a problem, and just smiled and walked in and took our lunch and sat down. And just like how Frank started teaching the French class. It was just as simple as that. Bada boom. Just gotta act like you own the place. You walk in.
Feed me.
Pat, did you ever get scammed in RuneScape?
Mm-hmm. Account lost.
Wow.
It was just a noob account though. Didn't know much.
Because you gave out your password?
Yeah, I typed it backwards.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
It's just the dumbest shit ever.
Yep.
It's like,
Like you're not gonna be very far along with that. Like that's so prevalent. Like they'll get you early. It's
you
fine.
just wait. That's funny. Like, look, I mean, because people are typing, oh, look at it, they won't let you say your
Stars.
password backwards, and it comes up as stars, and then you type it, and it says big string. Immediately, they're getting in there, stealing all your shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. All right.
I did too. I think I had the same
you got
story as you.
scammed in RuneScape?
Yeah,
didn't
same
know you
thing.
played.
It's just, oh yeah.
Everyone played.
Yeah.
This is before we met.
Yeah, no, definitely played, and it was like the same thing, except it was a trade that was lopsided, and seemed good, and made the trade. I think I was trading something still pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like a rune sword, and they were trading like a rune like chest plate and a helmet or something like that. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then you press trade, and then it's like pending, and then I don't know, he like removed them last second, and then you lock in, and then it like takes a second. So after you click, you're like, what? No. And then it goes through for free. And I had like the same exact day that you probably did, where I was like crying, and my parents were like, what happened? And I was like, I got scammed.
Yeah, it used to be very like fickle. I mean, it was like I think both sides had to agree, but it was like real quick, and you could just make changes, and you think, oh, maybe it didn't go through or something like that. Where very easy to just not see updates, and you just click it again or click trade.
Yeah.
And
They like fixed it, I remember, like years later, where if you remove anything from a trading transaction, it like stops. You can't click accept, and it like flashes red.
Yeah.
For
it's
like,
this is what
it's
you're
like
trading.
warning.
This for this.
It's like, yeah. Before it was like you could just click it really quick, click trade. Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
When they just wait for you, they're like, all right, that was the trust thing. It's like you have to hit the accept. And
Yeah.
then they can change things. I don't fucking whatever.
I think there's 2 accepts. It's like lock
Yeah.
in, and then like a are you sure or something. I don't know.
All right. Well, let's hear about Grant's deception.
Next question is: describe a time in your life when you attempted to deceive someone or were deceived. Was the deception successful? I got a good one that fits the theme of this movie. It was a little bit of a forgery of documents. I needed to get a real ID in Cleveland, and I was living in Cincinnati at the time. And in order to get a real ID, you need a proof of residence. But I was putting my parents' house as my proof of residence. I had medical bills that went to their place. Tried to bring those in. Those are not acceptable. Why? Hey, I don't know. I had some other piece of mail too that brought in. I don't know if it was insurance or credit card or something like that. Not accepted. The only thing they really wanted was like bank statements. And I was able to change my bank account to my parents' address for the statements, which everyone's paperless at this fucking point. So why does it fucking matter? Who's even fucking getting mail anyways? But it wouldn't be until the next statement that they would get the mail and I could verify that, you know, I'm living at this address. I was not going to wait that long. I am a tech guy. So it's crazy tech, you know, Photoshop. Basically what I did is just I edited the photo, changed my bank statement to say my parents' address, saved it, printed it out, called it a day, turned it in, looked at the DMV, BMV lady in the eye. I said, hey, this is my proof of residence. This is my bank statement. This is my birth certificate, social security, whatever else I had to fucking give them. And they gave me my ID. So, hey, kids, sometimes you gotta deceive. Sometimes you gotta lie. I don't know what to tell you.
I do not know. That's yeah, you forget, like, at the end of the day, they can just put in whatever, you know? They're like gods sitting there with their government machines. Like, just put it in, give it to me.
Are
That's
they having
weird.
a good day or a bad day?
Yeah.
To me, it's like I don't want my apartment, like in my temporary apartment, to have my real ID. Like that seems like a worse thing. I'd rather it be go to my parents.
Well, they would argue how is that temporary? It's where you live. It's where you're residing.
It's a point in time thing. You're supposed to update that when you move, Grant.
Yeah, you got to tell the government too. You file a form, update your address.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do that for mail forwarding. But what are you supposed to every time you move get a new ID?
I think so, yeah. Who knows?
I don't know. You definitely have to do the tax. Well, you should do the tax form. I mean, you sort of do it already when you file your tax return. You put in your address there. But if for some reason you were at a new address, like say those refunds hit for like COVID, if like you moved but you didn't tell them where you moved and you did a mail return, it would go to the wrong one. But if you just did it digitally, and I think it would just go to your bank account. So my point was kind of proven wrong. Oh,
he's a tech guy too. So
yeah, Grant's a tech guy. I forgot about that.
Yeah, some really complex tech there.
Who gets mail?
Let's do Pat's final question, his deception question.
And then final question, the shared question that we're each answering. Describe a time in your life when you attempted to deceive someone or were deceived. Was the deception successful? So I would say I strive to be pretty honest. So I can't recall a time I attempted to deceive someone, but during the home buying process, it felt like everyone was out to get you. You see these beautiful houses on Zillow, and they're in your price range. You go there with your realtor, and they're just kind of like cheap flips. It's pretty. I was not deceived. It's pretty obvious, but I just feel like when there are large sums of money, similar to the movie, you know, people are trying to pick your pocket and make a little bit of money at your expense. So it was not successful. And it's like low effort, whatever. Okay, thank you.
And he's gone. Did you feel you have a similar experience, Grant, in your home buying journey? Did you feel deceived?
I don't know if like I thought where you Pat was gonna go with that. It's just like I feel like there is some sort of like, I don't know, you have to like play some game when you're buying a house, and the price is not really even the price like now, you know? So I don't know if I felt deceived, but it's just like nothing. I don't know. There's just
Hard
some
to
like
evaluate.
stupid
I mean,
game. Yeah.
You're like, why makes this 40,000 more than this? I mean, someone just decided that. Maybe off some factors that you don't really know about, location, recent updates, but a lot of the stuff is hidden and not maybe that available from a simple Zillow picture and description.
Yeah, I think the hardest part about buying a house is like you have to make serious offers, and you can't, you know, if you're making an offer on a house, you obviously have to put yourself in it to a degree, right? You have to imagine yourself living there, otherwise you're not going to make an offer, and then it's like swept out of your hands. And it happens like many times.
And you have to make a
You're
quick
heartbroken.
decision too.
Yeah.
Like a quick decision that's like very permanent.
Yeah. I will say this is kind of I don't know if it's a deception. I felt deceived to a degree as I bought a house and I got pre-approved by this guy. It was like, I think it was like First National Bank. So they do mortgages all the time. And he pre-approved me for a certain amount, and then I go to make an offer, and he's like, "Oh, we can't write that." Like, and I like went off on him. I was like, "That is so fucking unacceptable. You
Scummy.
pre-approved me for this. Like, I'm making an offer, and you're saying what now?" Like, I like wrote him
Said that
worst
line?
review
What?
ever. He like emailed me back. He was like, "I'm so sorry." He seemed pretty actually like
Seems like you
sad.
ripped him a new one.
Yeah, I did. It's like fuck off, dude. And then I switched to a different bank for my mortgage.
Damn.
Third Federal.
Third Federal, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, I
So-
did the same.
Other one start with an H.
No, First National.
Oh, I see.
Start with
First,
an
you went
H.
from first to third.
I thought
Oh.
you were still a Huntington customer.
I am.
Okay.
Not with my mortgage though.
Okay, gotcha. Didn't know if you wanted to keep it all in house.
I feel like most people don't.
I'd probably not. I don't own a home. I'm just a silly boy. All right, we got two more videos left here. This is talking about how the movie's going to end. Me and Grant duke it out.
And then the final question of Final Universal is, what is going to happen in this film? Well, I think it's obvious. He's going to get caught. We kind of were spoiled that. Not spoiled, but there was a foreshadowing of that in the beginning of him in a cell and Tom Hanks' character picking him up. But I think he's going to fly too close to the sun. And my, I guess, take, and they've alluded to this a little bit, I think he's gonna let himself get caught. I think the fun and games is gonna it's gonna wear out. It's gonna become dry. And I think that's a common theme with a lot of fraudsters. There was someone, I don't know if it's this country, I want to say Australia for some reason, but they figured out a way that they could basically not hack ATM machines, but they could get money out. They could like short them, right? And they could make the machines kind of like freak out and spit out money. And he did that for years, hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions, living the high life, balling out. And then eventually the guilt and being able to sleep at night, turn himself in. No one was going to catch him. No one was suspecting him. There was not a Tom Hanks FBI agent out to get him. But regardless, he still turned himself in. So I think the same thing's going to happen with Leo. He's going to get lonely, have this guilt, not able to sleep at night. He's going to turn himself in. That's my take. All right. Peace out.
Sort of. I like your diva-ness in this. Let's follow it up real quick.
I was on a vibe.
You were definitely on a vibe. I'll get mine in here and then we'll chat. And then my last question, which is a shared question, is how does this movie play out? How does it end? Do I know? I very much believe Frank will be caught. All of his lies will eventually catch up to him, and I think his parents, maybe his mother, definitely, if he talks to her again, would be disappointed. His dad, maybe understanding, sort of cut from the same cloth, but eventually his deceit will catch up with him, and he will be put away for some time. But it might end like similar to The Wolf of Wall Street, which Leonardo DiCaprio also played, where he does get caught in the end and he serves his time, but sort of they have a thing at the end where he's sort of turned it into his own gain and is able to market and sell himself based off of this life experience. So he really never atones or feels bad about what he did. He just continues to find any way to gain in wealth or status or power. So that's all of my all I got today, and I'll see you guys in the live stream. Peace. Nice.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. He never learns. Well, I think we had sort of similar expectations. But he didn't. I think the only thing is he did not give up for the thrill. Just kind of straight up got caught. All right. Any other thoughts on the ending there? We want to move on.
No, but this guy did find that, that ATM glitch. He stole $1.2 million because he found a loophole. It was like ATMs would go offline from like 1 to 3 a.m. and you could do like a transfer from your savings to checkings, and it would like always go through, and then it would like return the next day. But you could do that, and he like was doing like millions, and then eventually he was also like, he had freakouts where he thought like SWAT team was against him, and then it's like a knock on his hotel door, and he's like, this is it, and it's like the maid who's like, do you need any fresh towels? And then eventually he's like, I think he turned himself in.
Yeah, the stress. I think it's so much, especially if you've stolen hundreds of thousands to $1 million. That's it's like Office Space. Like someone notices that eventually. Like,
No one noticed.
I know you're
like-
saying I know no one noticed now. I don't know how they didn't notice, but I feel like
Yeah.
eventually someone will notice. I think they stole more money in Office Space.
Yeah. Yeah, they got the decimal points wrong.
All right, maybe we'll do this next segment at the beginning. I feel like it's a good warm up, but we can talk about our bottoms up to commemorate each film. Our lovely, what do you call it? Is there a different word for bartender? Spirit mixologist. Mixologist is the word I'm looking for. Grant Farmer whips up something delicious and in theme with the movie. So tell us a little bit about what we drank that evening.
Yeah, so the first thing I thought, catch me if you can, right? I thought I need a drink or like a shot with a chaser, right? Someone chasing. So I was looking up shots and I found one, I wanted something that I would enjoy. So Kamikaze is what it's called. It's vodka, triple sec, and lime juice. I swapped out the vodka for gin for some like pretty citrus forward gin. Had that, and then we chased with just like a sparkling blood orange San Pellegrino. And it's simple.
delicious.
And Kamikaze also is plain themed. So I was hitting all the
Everywhere, you're
marks.
like, this?
I don't know if
This?
it was just a shot, so it wasn't like I didn't cook any of
No, the
that
theme
up.
is
But the theme was on point.
Yes. Well researched.
Maybe that's why I was on
Nailed
the
it.
You're like, I've had 8 of these. I was testing the
They go down
kamikaze.
They do go down easy.
Yeah, it was smooth, very smooth from what I recall. Well, you're 2 for 2 now. Let's see how long you can keep this game up.
Are you gonna fly too close to the sun, Grant?
Yeah.
Is it all gonna go to your head?
I've made 12
I
drinks.
can make no
How could I
errors.
make another one?
We'll see.
They don't understand true mixology. They've turned on me.
Yeah, you guys are going. What did we do last time?
Was the mule-
Blazing
under?
Saddles?
How
No, how do we rate it? Didn't we do like a? I thought we came up with something.
Oh, there was something.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There was something.
We'll incorporate it in the
cute.
next one.
Maybe I can figure that out while we talk about our last segment here, which I'll hand over to Mr. Patrick. We're going to call this the Ultimate Con. Well, we briefly touched upon some notes that Frank Abagnale Jr. maybe wasn't as successful in his deceit as the movie may portrayed. So I'll just let Pat take over and tell us or ask us anything you would like to know about this film versus what has happened in reality, because this film is sort of, I don't know, I forgot what exactly they said in the credits. Did they say based or they
Based
say
on a true
inspired?
story.
Inspired or based?
Or actually, don't they say it's based on a book though?
Well, he did write the book.
Yeah, but I think it's like based on the. They're like going even further from like story. They're like saying like based on a novel, I think.
Yeah, so they may have I don't,
based. At least the screenplay is based on the book.
That's what I thought. Yeah, it's like, but that feels.
However,
like you're just
the
saying like I
truth
don't
of-
need to claim.
Yeah, actually, I won't finish that sentence because we'll have Pat take it away.
Sure.
Yeah. So there were a lot of claims in this movie. Even just when Grant read the description, it's like claims. You know, it's like Frank did this. He was a pilot. Frank was a lawyer. Frank was, you know, writing checks. His dad taught him everything. Whatever. Yada yada. So I looked at some claims, and you can like. There's a bunch of stuff when the book came out, and then the movie, like some articles that did that. I couldn't really find any of those on the internet anymore. I think AI has just scraped all real journalists journals from like 20 plus years ago. But family life woes is one of the claims, right? It's kind of we touched on it. It's not so much the actions he's going through, but maybe what's driving him to be running, what he's living for. And that is actually the true one. So his parents did divorce when he was 14. During that time, he scammed his own dad out of thousands of dollars. And his mom sent him to a juvie school, maybe like Miss Chevy Hanks. And he ran away from that. And he never saw his dad again after that. So after he ran away from juvie, he was just on his own, doing the checks, doing some other things. He was in the military. But he never saw his dad again, which I think they showed in the movie. They like kind of reuniting and giving some contact after kind of the initial split. So the next one is probably the most prolific, the fraudulent checks. And this one's true too. So he was actually indicted for $1.5 million of checks, and he was put on Interpol for that as he fled the United States, which is also kind of what we're seeing in the movie. And he was extradited and jailed in France. He was taken out of Sweden from that and put in France. So that same as the movie. However, the movie has, I think, like $3 million or something. So he just inflated it a little bit. One of the next claims, learn from dad, which is kind of like implied in the movie that his dad's kind of a con man in his own right. So this one's false. And he said he was a good man. And it was kind of dramatized to put that father-son drama bond. It kind of makes more sense with the separation. So he was a pilot. The next claim is true. So he did do the deadheading where you just kind of go in back and forth. But he did meet a Louisiana flight attendant and lived with their parents and scammed them via checks. But there's only like maybe for 2 weeks he was a pilot. Like there's not like in the movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks. People were saying it's like impossible that this would go on for any more than like a couple times. And there's no records or anything. Like it's a little shady because it's so long ago, but like the claim is like he did it for so many flights.
Yeah.
Like, that's not really. It was kind of like here or there, and then he was like, this is not possible.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things that I sort of saw was just the timeline of things. So I feel like in the movie it's like, oh, here we are again, Christmas Eve. Like it's been years, but like all this stuff happens. Like he does something illegal and he gets caught like 2 months later. Like it's not. He is trying to deceive people, and then he gets caught.
Yeah, he's doing like short sentences in between every like it's like chapters rather than like all blending together. It's like chapter consequence of jail,
does something,
chapter consequence of jail, and then does something else, and like it never really works out, and it's never really as big as or grand as the movie.
Interesting.
And for being a doctor, that's not true. No one can ever corroborate that story, and it was like vague and can't really kind of a
Yeah.
baseless claim. Lawyer, false. No record of him ever passing the bar. No work records ever exist as, him being a lawyer. He was on the most wanted list. He was put there by Interpol. And the last claim, FBI consultant, shortens his, he turns and works for the good team.
Yeah.
This one's like kind of true. So they didn't like commute a sentence like they did in the movie where they're like, you can come work for us instead of like going to jail. It was kind of like after the fact. And they like flew him to have like a talk about check fraud at like an annual conference kind of deal. So it wasn't, and he wasn't never an agent. And there's no like hat or nail guy who was chasing him. It was just kind of like because he's getting caught so regularly, it's like he's not this elusive figure. It was just like FBI was like, who could give a talk on check fraud? I'm like, oh, this guy had good behavior. And
Was he like that young when he got caught?
Yeah, it was all like in his early 20s.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, always young. He's a smooth talker. He's there. You can see the real guy talk in various settings on YouTube, and it's just, it's as if he did it all. It's just smooth and buttery, and you're like, wow, this is a great story, and this is, he definitely did it too because he has so much detail, and he's just captivating. These people are they have the gift of gab. They're just smooth talkers, and they just put it in a book. It's funny. It just went from his fake mind to in a book being fake,
and then the movie's based on the book.
Yeah, we just wrote what was in the book.
So wait, the book was an autobiography?
Maybe fiction. Where is the?
It says it's semi-autobiographical. What does that mean?
Because it's like semi-fiction,
I think I don't.
It's acknowledged to have been partly fictionalized.
Yeah,
loosely based on the real.
But he co-wrote it. Yeah, I didn't know he wrote it.
He's literally a con man. Yeah,
yeah. He's just like, this is what would have happened if I, it all worked out.
I saw one thing too about the pilot that what you were saying. Apparently there's only records of 10 personal checks with a Pan American Airlines logo, totaling less than $1,500.
Yeah, it's like,
so they like showed that was like a huge part. Like
it's always those Pan Am checks.
Well, he like put them in the bathtub to get the logos off, and he was putting those on checks. And yeah, I mean, it definitely was like made it a film worthy, right? Like,
yeah,
it was exciting
and
for sure.
Add a lot of the stuff about the family and him. Why is he ripping all those logos off, guys? Why is he collecting all those logos?
To put them on checks.
Why are they? No, like his wallet was like filled with logos. I think the gist of it is that he's sort of collecting identities in the same way he is. Taking on different roles and ambitions, and he doesn't really have something of his own. So he just takes a bunch of logos from places. Yeah. So more thematic.
Did you talk about his family at all? Like his siblings and his dad?
I think Pat talked about his dad a little bit, but I don't.
Not the siblings.
Not the siblings.
They portrayed him as an only child, but he had 2 brothers and a sister. And then he said once he ran away from his dad, he never talked to him again. Instead of like coming back and being like, Dad, you got to get back together with Mom. But it makes for a better story, right?
Especially if his dad was actually like a good guy who he like scammed and then just like ghosted. It's not as emotional as like a father maybe imparting some of his bad on his son and them trying to connect with it over the years. That sounds a lot better, especially with Christopher Walken too. Like as much screen time as they could have together is good.
Yeah, I like Christopher Walken a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Patrick, for the info. I don't know if that makes the film better or worse in my eyes. I see it first time to see, like, oh man, they got me. And then I go, well, probably made it a better movie.
Yeah.
There's no movie without it.
All right. Well, let's move on to our very last segment. And I do have some news that we
Breaking
can
news.
also do our drink review. I was reviewing how we did that before, and it's actually based off of the same criteria. We're going to take the G&Q patented review. I don't know if we have a name for the drink, but we base our over-under on the IMDb score for the drinks
Tailwind.
as well.
Tailwind. I was going to call it Pan Am. I like Tailwind better.
Because being pushed, It's kind of...
Uh-huh.
So, we can both give it'll be an over under for both the drink and the film.
one of these. Like,
Sure.
What about Check Fraud? Is that a good drink name?
I don't think so.
Check Fraud. Kind of like it.
Check Fraud with 1.2 million
I think that's non-alcoholic.
votes.
Like a
1.2
shot,
million.
a non-alcoholic shot.
We are sitting at an 8.1.
It's pretty high. So the drink and the movie, you're judging
Drink
the,
in the
them
yeah.
both to
Next time we'll
8.1.
do the drinks at the time, but for now we can do it both at the same time.
Start with the drink. Easy one. I'll go under.
Sure.
It
was more theme than
not my best.
taste.
Yeah, it's thematic. I think it would it fit great thematically, but I wouldn't have it again. I don't think.
Yeah.
A shot's a shot,
Yeah.
Oh, Pat down, double down. Is that you coming in?
Quinn.
Drink also.
I'm
drink also under.
I'm also gonna say under. I liked Blazing Saddles more.
Yeah, no, it's a lot better. I made my own syrup for that, and QLC bad dog.
It is. Sorry, drinks. All right, and now let's go for the movie. Catch Me If You Can. 8.1. I'll go first. I'm gonna go under. I liked it, but I don't think it kind of cemented itself as like, oh, one of the greats. I thought they did a good job with it, and it was a fun watch. But even it's been some time since we've watched it, and I haven't really thought about it too much. So I'm gonna take that as a sign. Great.
Yeah, I'll say the same. I did enjoy it. And honestly, I think the reason that it's lower is I just felt like I was waiting for it to it dragged on a little bit. Definitely dragged on. It was 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I felt like it didn't have to be that long. So I think especially after that second half, I'm like, okay, yeah, we get it. I think it kind of stalled a little bit, no pun intended, like an airplane. But yeah, no, I'm going to go under. I think I don't think I'd watch it again because of the length. I think the film format is kind of like fun, good action. I actually just rewatched The Firstborn Identity, and I think that's like an hour and a half. And it's very solid action. You're like, yeah, this is good. Hour and a half, doesn't overstay its welcome. Good, very rewatchable. I think when you're hitting the 2 hour 20-minute mark, it's got to be a fucking banger all the way through. And I don't think it was.
Patrick?
Under.
Oh,
Wasn't the biggest fan. It was fine. It's just kind of like a Hallmark movie, though. Honestly, like it's like you have like a interesting story, can do no wrong, but then your actions lead to consequences, and you can't do bad things because you'll get caught. And it's fine, but it was just like there wasn't that like interesting factor, you know. It wasn't like it was just pretty straightforward, and it did drag on. I felt like instead of the roles being different, like the roles of like, you know, doctor, lawyer, or whatever, it was just kind of like more of the same. Like I don't need to see all of that. Like it could have just been one done really well with a little bit more of the drama or something from the side. So yeah, it was fine.
Damn,
But
dog water. I was 6 thumbs downs. Wow.
wow.
That's,
I thought it was dog water for the cocktail specifically.
yes,
It was like,
yeah.
it was like, yeah, a bowl of dog water.
a literal dog
Wouldn't
water.
drink that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, we giving it to you straight. Had some fun responses for a decent film, or below, still maybe in the 7s. But next time, what are we doing? I'm going to decide. This has been sitting on the side for a minute that I've wanted to get to. I kind of alluded to the director a little bit earlier. I think next time we can watch Dear Kelly, which is Channel 5 Andrew Callahan's first, well, technically his second feature-length film, first under the Channel 5 brand. And I'll read a quick synopsis since it's on a separate page. Dear Kelly is Andrew Callahan's sophomore feature film, which explores the life, backstory, and beliefs of a man named Kelly J. Patriot, who Andrew met at a White Lives Matter rally in 2021. The film was shot over the course of 4.5 years, documenting Kelly's radicalization, his quest for revenge against a private lender, and his family's attempts to pull him out of the rabbit hole. It is also the first film to be released independently by Channel 5. So, it's available for rent and purchase on dearkellyfilm.com, and I think that'll be a fun or maybe stressful watch together. Who knows?
Tory Lanez is in it, Quinn.
Oh, really? Before he went to prison?
Archive footage, parentheses. Interesting, yeah.
Well, yeah, getting a little political. Some tensions might rise. But who knows? Or we'll have a great time. But I think we'll do that next time. And that's all I got. Grant, you want to take us away?
Yeah, thank you all for watching. You can follow us on Instagram. Our handle is Quarter Life Critics, all one word. And also you can find us on YouTube, where we will have these going live.
Wait for it. Oh, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. All right, thanks guys. Till next time. Peace.
Peace.